Okay. I'd say I will kick off now just to keep us on time because I'm conscious that y'all have kindly joined us on your lunch break. So, um, good afternoon, everyone. So, thank you so much for joining us for some lunchtime learning. My name is Brenda Kelly, and I'm the Sales and Marketing Manager here at Positive Retail. So, today we've partnered with Zoined to present EPOS data to actionable insights. So, Zoined is a cloud-based plug-and-play analytics solution we're really excited about. So today I'm joined by the lovely Laura Sinkman, the partner director at Zoin. So I don't know, Laura, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everyone. So nice to meet you.
Great.
And as Brenda mentioned, Zoined is a company that has developed this analytics tool since 2011. So we've been around for a while. We are a Finnish company and located in Helsinki, Finland. So, and my job is really to work with the partners on a global level. So outside of the Nordics, basically, we have my colleagues are handling the Nordics more or less. So I get to work with lovely Brenda and companies like Positive Retail, which is amazing team. So yeah, you will see more about it today that how the system operates.
Amazing. So, as you said, today's agenda. So, we're going to cover some brief introductions about Positive. We'll talk about some common retail reporting challenges that we know everybody has, the benefits of Zoined for retailers, and then actionable use cases. So, we're going to look at the Zoined live demo, and then we're going to open the floor for a lovely Q&A for everybody to ask their hopefully lots and lots of questions after the session. So, we'll open the floor at the end. If you have questions in the meantime, I'd encourage popping the questions into the chat, and our lovely Aoife will be monitoring those and bringing them into play at the end of the Q&A. So if you do have questions as we go, pop them in the chat so they're nice and fresh in the brain, and we will answer them at the end. So very quickly, Positive Retail is a retail technology provider offering software solutions to retailers in the UK and in Ireland. So we offer point of sale, inventory management, mobile solutions, and e-commerce integration. So our aim is to streamline your tech stack and make your business more efficient through our solutions and software. So our main solution, so we offer two point of sale solutions. So we have Retail Management Hero and we have MyPOS Connect. Today we're going to focus on Retail Management Hero and the Zoined integration. So this robust integration has actually been used by RMH retailers globally for the past 7 years. And today we're bringing it to Ireland. So it's very much, this integration is very much tried, tested, and established. It's just we have not had the opportunity to partner with Zoin, so we got a demo of it ourselves in Positive Retail, and we thought it was just a super platform. So we wanted to bring it to some of our customers to show how powerful of an analytics platform it is. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Laura to explain the Zoin solution in a little bit more detail.
Yes, so I think all of us have faced these common challenges basically, which is shared all across the retail industry. So first of all, what is the problem with the outdated reports is the cluttered data everywhere. Like we say it here, cluttered data everywhere, insights nowhere. Because when you have several systems, you have probably something is in the POS system, something you have in Excel, something you have in other platforms. And what happens then is that people are talking about different numbers and different topics, even though they think they're talking about the same thing. So you kind of lose this one truth. You like people are actually having their own versions of Excels, and the data is outdated. And in today's business life, it is impossible to make fast and educated decisions if your data is slow or if it is very rigid and you are not able to see what you really would need to see to understand why things are happening. So this is why we have created this cloud-based real-time analytics solution so that everyone have access to the same reports, the same data, and wherever you are, it doesn't matter if there are time differences or location or anything at all, you can always work on it. You always have the updated real data in it. And then coming to the insights, which I think is the beauty of the. Can you go back one slide,
Oh,
Brenda?
sorry, Laura.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Which is really, I think, the beauty of this solution is that instead of just seeing that, okay, my sales are down or something has happened, but I don't really understand what. So getting from more or less thinking about what and focusing more on why will actually enable you to really like spot the trends which are moving fast. Like trends are coming and going, we all know that in retail, and you really need to spot them early. You need to be actually able to predict them a little bit and to be able to really act on it. So if you see something's happening, you can see where this is going, then you can still change your decisions and plans for the future and really be up to date. So this is what we mean by the insights, and you will see it when I demonstrate the software for you, that you actually start understanding what are the reasons behind the figures, why things are really happening. And then we have, of course, I think in every business, there is always the biggest queue is for the IT guys. So if you have a solution that is technically very kind of demanding, which typically all of these traditional BI tools are, for example, that if you want to have a new report or just to see it for yourself from a different point of view, you need to really get the help from the IT guys to get the SQL queries up and running and so on, but not with our solution. You can do everything by yourself. And now, Brenda, I think we can move to the next one, and I will explain a little bit how this all happens. Like, so what is so different in it, and what are the benefits for you as the retailers? Brenda already mentioned that we have this seamless interface. We have the integration in place with RMH for a long time ago, and that really enables us to get all the data you have there to directly linked to our system, and then you can play around with it from whichever angle you want. So from day one, you will have 50 plus reports out of the box. You can start analyzing your sales, your inventory, different kind of efficiencies, personnel, anything you want. It's there. It's there for you to just explore. There are 300 plus metrics and KPIs already built within it, because this is really designed and tailored for the retail business and also e-commerce. So you can combine these both in the same tool. So no need to have any kind of business requirements, data gathering, or start developing from the scratch the KPIs or metrics. It's already there. We have been developing this for 14 years. And also with this multidimensional data, we are referring to the fact that you can see it in a visual format. You can still keep on working with your tables, and it's also linked to Excel, but it's very intuitive because of the visuality and the ease of use. You will see in a few moments.
Mhm.
All the dashboards are interactive. You can drill down, you can dig into the more details when you see something interesting. And also something that our customers all across the world use a lot is the automated email reports. So you can set alerts, for example, that if your high selling products are in risk of getting out of stock, you will get an alert to your email. You can read it anywhere at any time from your phone, from your iPad, whichever you prefer. And it's already, again, an interactive dashboard. You can start looking into what is happening here. So actually in Finland, we have one huge retail chain, and they are sending 11,000 automated email reports only within a month. So on a monthly basis. So they are really leveraging this because it's so
Crazy volume.
easy. Yeah, you can take it from your point of view, if you're a purchaser, if you're a store manager, or if you are responsible of, let's say, certain categories or whatever, you can really customize it fully. And the good part in all of this is that everything is included, and that by that I mean data warehousing. You can have as many users as you want. You don't need to pay for additional users. Email reports, you can use as many as you like. So this is like a full complete package offered at once. And yes, so
Out of the box. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's
out of the
completely
box.
out of the box. Yeah, no, that's I think that's this is easy to set up, it's easy to get going, and it's out of the box, which you'll all see now as soon as Laura kicks off the demo. We'll just talk about the use cases, I think, as well. You wanted to cover, Laura.
Yeah, I want to kind of quickly give you an understanding that there are so many things you can do within this system. So today I have chosen like 3 points of view or use cases so that you kind of get the understanding and the idea what all can be done with it. And I'm not trying to get you like the masters to Excel the whole system as such, because there are so many things you can do with it. So I'm choosing these because these are typically the ones that almost every retail company is somehow struggling with, or at least needs a lot of data for. So for the buyer to understand what needs to be in the stock, how much, at which times, from who should you get it from, and everything like relating to the efficiency and values and so on. And then of course store manager, and it doesn't need to be a store manager, but basically someone who is responsible of sales. And typically also, of course, salespersons themselves are very interested in seeing how sales in their responsibility area are developing, and you can get down to the like the smallest detail ever you want. So it's really efficient. And of course, for the owners, they want their investments to actually provide some return. So there we have one more view, which is just demonstrating to you how quickly they can get an idea what is happening on the sales side. Are they getting a return on their investment and so on? So that's why I chose these three, but there could be much more marketing, for example, and so on. So,
Hmm.
but
There's
to
so
keep it,
many. Like
yeah, we
even
don't
our
have,
discussions today, there's so many use cases where this comes into play from a HR, from a buying, from a performance, like because it's just your data and it's been able to very quickly understand how you can action insights without having to run report after report and then get custom reports and tailored reports. It takes away all of that. Will I stop sharing, Laura, and pass over to you to share your screen?
yes, please, let's do that. So
Perfect.
I think it's
Lovely.
easier to kind of explain it to you more in detail when you can also see it at the same time. So, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Great. So, as I just mentioned, I have picked these three use cases, and for that reason, I have here on the left side already created a folder for us to go through those three use cases. So, all in all, just to give you a little understanding of this solution, basically, it's when I'm not going to go through all of the technical usages of it, and this is just to give you the idea. And if you are interested in it, we will provide you separately a full demo of all the functionalities and features and
Mm.
everything. But just for you to understand that I actually created these here, like it took me like a few minutes to create all
Mm.
these reports from the scratch, because it's really very, very easy and fast to use. And I think we just move on to the first use case, which was the buyers. And in this case, I have now chosen here a very typical kind of traditional buyer report where you can see the categories, and then you can see the inventory turnover ratio over those 365 days. So obviously, the bigger number you have here, the faster your inventory for those products is moving, and this means that it's good. You are earning on your investment a proper money. And then weeks of supply so that you keep on track, that you have the correct inventory levels. And average inventory value, because everything comes down to money after all.
Mhm.
So even though if you have like 2.6 as a inventory turnover ratio, but it's 59 euros, so maybe not the most significant category to look for you now.
Mhm.
And then also the sales, 109. So again, probably you want to focus more on the higher numbers. And also, of course, the sales margin. So this is very simple one, and I put it here first of all, to demonstrate you that I know that buyers are really like number crunchers. They are used to using huge, massive Excel files. And our system allows that as well. So you can add here, you can go all the way to the SKU level or EAN code, and you can have like hundreds of sheets and rows. It doesn't matter. And then you can just sometimes you have it right over here, or you can go behind the filters and export it to Excel. And you can keep on working with it the same way you are probably working today. If you are a buyer, you have a lot of Excels or some kind of
Hmm.
similar sheets. And
I
then,
I think
yes,
what's good here, Laura, is that, in terms of filtering, I think we're looking at a whole holistic view of a business there, but you can also quick filter, by branch. So if you want to just drill into a specific branch, so if anyone is a multi-store that wants to essentially look at different locations and how they're performing, you can drill into that. But I think what's cool as well is the quick filters doesn't have to be your location. It can also be subcategory. It can be department category. If you're, for example, a single store, you can change up that filter to mean different things for your business. So it's relative, I suppose, to all sizes is what this report shows as well.
yes. So just to give you, like, I know that it can get a little bit confusing because there are so many things here, but just to show you that we really have like 300 plus metrics and you can choose yourself, how do you group it? And sometimes you want to have, for example, reports showing you which colors, which sizes have been sold, and you can really use whatever you want. And like Brenda mentioned in this, I have just put here as a quick filter so that if you want to look the inventory situation per store, you can do it really easily. Now it's for Helsinki, then we can add London and take Helsinki out, and then you already have it for London. But if I want to see the full company, I just clear it out and I can see the overall situation. So it's really, really fast, and you can have here categories, whatever you want, or regions, and so on. But what I was thinking that we could take a look in this report, in addition to the quick filters and all in all, kind of to understand that how many things you can do with it, is that yes, you can see here quite quickly that women coats are selling fast, like the inventory is turning over and so on. We're happy with that. And so what might be a concern is the women's shoes. But then again, that's not the highest value. So probably maybe even the children indoor could be something we want to understand more, that what is happening, why do we have so much inventory as a value, but it's not moving very efficiently. And for that reason, we have also these other formats. So, for example, here we now have the same situation, but we have it in a visual format. And this format allows us to do drill downs. We can see it here, and you can choose here again. There are plenty of um, metrics and KPIs that you can use to kind of look more in detail. So it is like, even for someone who is not used to using analyses and reports and so on, or analytics, you can instantly spot here once you understand what is in there, and you can decide yourself, of course. But this is now built so that we have the inventory turnover. As I hover over, you can see that it's the blue blocks that are the inventory turnover ratios. Then we have a comparison to the previous year, but this could be a comparison to a budget, for example. You can easily upload your budget here with an Excel sheet. You can even take a ready-made template here for your data. You can take, for example, for this category, you could take what we have in as a sales last year, and we decide that this year it should be 15% more,
Hmm.
and you just do it in the Excel at 15%, and then you just save it, drag and drop. It's automatically uploaded everywhere. So whichever report, whichever view you are using, you always see that data. You can do ad hoc forecasting. If you have marketing campaigns, you can like follow that I'm expecting to sell 20% more. So I will upload a forecast and let's see how we're doing compared to that.
Absolutely. And I think what's really good about this report is you can see the peaks and the troughs. So you have average inventory value there and the
Yes.
previous corresponding period. So if like we hover over that whole report, I can already see, goodness, like children indoor is a massive problem at the moment because we obviously have lots of inventory there and the sales are not great. So
55% behind last year. Yes,
yeah.
the turnover ratio. So you can even see here. So Brenda, you spotted immediately, because that's the beauty of the visuality, that you can see immediately. That's something that we should look into and start finding out what is wrong with it. We can also, the women counts have been It's decreased from last year, but then again, so is our inventory. So that trend we have spotted at some point because it
Mm.
is so important to spot the trends and act on it early as early as possible. So in this case, we probably want to understand more. We have this is now suggesting the subcategory. So let's take a look. So we have already chosen this here as a drill down option. So then what I only do is that I click the one with my mouse that I want to see. And then immediately we can see which categories have been really the issue here. Brenda, can you spot it?
Yeah, so obviously it's the gowns. Yeah,
Yeah.
the gowns are an absolute problem. To be
Yes, you have
fair,
a very high.
children wearing gowns now that they think about it. Many children go out wearing gowns. Whoever's doing the
Exactly,
buying
like
in there.
little girls, they might have to go
With a
down
proper
every
gown.
day.
Yeah, no. To be fair, like and like I personally don't like Excel either. So this like I'm a visual person, so this is super helpful. In terms of already I know, okay, let's get either get rid of those gowns or see what's going on. Is it price point? Is what is it? What's the problem?
Yes, exactly. And then another thing can be that you might want to know who is the supplier for this, because if we have an issue, we can see that the sales have dropped. For example, here, if we take a look at the tops, our sales are 60% down in the turnover because the inventory turnover is linked to the sales. So we can kind of identify that as well. And of course, we could show sales here as well, but I've kept it now a little bit more simple. So in this case, I might go here and just type in, supplier, and I get the supplier name, apply, and then I have it here as the next one. If I click further, I will get it and I want to see it. So which supplier has been, so we can see again that basics is not doing very well. Even though it's selling something, we have a very high inventory value there compared to the other ones. And also we can see that these chic styles, LTD companies products are not selling that well either. So
Yeah.
you probably want to make sure that your plan for the upcoming purchase orders for the rest of the year will be reviewed so that you don't end up in a situation by the end of the year that you have a huge amount of stock
Yeah,
when the
like
trend.
is that a trend issue? Is that a supply chain issue? Is it's fine. That's like key data to find out whether for planning is that just a trend and now okay, let's not reorder all that stock, get rid of it. It's really powerful insight there.
Yeah. And kind of to get to another point of view here, this is an example of supplier's dashboard, which is kind of combining the probably most used KPIs. If something is missing here, you can go in and you can put it in yourself or take something out. It's completely customizable, but we have created here a lot of like reports out of the box so that when you really get it in use, the deployment time is really short. So the first time you get in there, you can already start playing with it. You don't need to build anything yourself. The basic things that you need in your business are already there. So that is now what we have put to this supplier dashboard. And just already in the beginning, I'm just mentioning that here I have put a quick filter per the supplier. So I can just go in, we just talked about the basics. So maybe I choose basics alone. So now it's showing me the data for the basics supplier only. And what we can see here, oh, GM ROI is down 78%. That is a problem. We can also see that we have like markdown percentage has increased. So we might want to pay attention to the quality of the products. As we already identified, inventory value sell-through has weakened a lot. So probably in this case, we want to communicate this to the supplier. And that is something that our reports are used by our customers a lot because it's very easy. There is one button here called share, and you get an URL link to this report. And you can just share this with your supplier. They don't need to have access, and it's like you don't need to worry that they see something else that what they were supposed to see. They will only see data regarding their products, and they're not able to drill down to anything. And that is something you can also use for other use cases in
Mhm.
your business. If you have a
Yeah.
coffee room, you want to share the sales, you can put it out there, real-time data updated all the time on the screen, but no one can go in and start drilling down and seeing more. Maybe some data, personal HR data that is not meant to be seen. So you can always rely on that what is there is the only thing that they can see.
Yeah, I think as well for this one, it's really good to be able to, like, if you have a high volume of return on, say, a particular item, like, is why is that? Has the quality dropped? And to be able to highlight that to a supplier from a buying perspective, it kind of gives power to you guys as well, I suppose, to be like, here, guys, here's my sales for this product last year, and this is it this year. What's going on? It's being returned so many times. Has the sizing changed? Has what's going on there? So again, it's really kind of giving you key insight to drill like feedback to your supplier as well. um so I think that's really helpful information, as well, like weeks of supply, like to make sure that you are covering yourself for a number of weeks and the correct amount of weeks per year. That's really, really powerful data as well.
Stories. And then we also have here a little bit same as we already looked before, but just to give you the understanding that we have a lot of formats that you can show it in. So these heat maps are also used quite a lot. And this is one use case for it. Here we can see that this is now sales without VAT. And the more red it gets, the hotter the sales are, the higher the sales are. So you can instantly spot here that, okay, January, February, March, and even actually already December has been very good selling months for the children outdoor. So you might want to take that into consideration and see if the trend is the same. With a longer period, this is now for 12 months, but maybe you want to take a look 3 years back and see if this is like constantly happening, and then you'll be ready for it. You know that you
Mm.
fill your stocks for it, and you can maybe do some marketing campaigns and kind of get people interested in your products at the right time.
Yeah, yeah, that's when it becomes marketing problem. That heat map there is, hey, marketing, sort this out. we want it green all year.
But what's better way, like have a way to give it to someone else? Hey, can you solve this for me? Make the sales count. So that's a super tool. And in another way, so we just figured out that children indoor is a problem. We have too much products in our inventory, in our stock. So you can here identify when would be a good opportunity to do some discount campaigns or some kind of marketing campaigns to really try to get rid of it. So you can use this in a few ways. Just quickly showing to you that also something that with a very quick look here, you can see that year to date sales have dropped the most in percentage with the red one. In tops, jeans, shirts, I mean, 48% down from last year. And even in absolute value, you can see that it's 43,000 euros. So you want to do something, you want to start figuring out why the sales are dropping and have we actually reacted to this also from the inventory and also from the sales point of view. But here again, long underwear has really increased. There must be some kind of trend, or we found a new supplier which is really trending. Maybe in TikTok, I think someone mentioned the TikTok videos. So you want to be sure that you are not running out of stock and really kind of gets you the idea very quickly. Cool. So let's jump into another view. This is not a customer point of view. So the second use case that I kind of listed as the store manager, but this is just something specific that I wanted to take here because cross-selling and upselling is, of course, very important way to really increase your sales. And sometimes it doesn't need to be so complicated. So what I've done in this report is that regarding like if you have the loyalty program in place, then we will get the data, we will identify those customers. And the ones we haven't, I have just ruled them out here. That's why it says missing here. Because sometimes when you start analyzing in Excel or something, it kind of ruins it that maybe 80% of your sales is with customers that you haven't identified. So therefore, it's good to have a report where you can actually have just the customers you know. And then you can spot here, okay, these have bought a lot, but in this case, last 90 days, they haven't really bought. So maybe there is an opportunity to sell them more. These seem like like good customers, good new customers, and the other way around if they haven't really bought anything. But here, if they used to buy something, maybe you want to do some campaign, marketing campaign, or give them some extra discount, you can just take the email addresses here and do an email campaign for them very easily.
Mm.
And
And
one of our customers actually uses WhatsApp these days. So you can just change the phone number here and take again, you have like the list ready and just send it out.
yeah, and likewise, Laura, everyone's sales cycle is going to be different. So in terms of a repeat business customer, some people, like I think we've set this report for 90 days, but say if I'm in
Absolutely.
maybe, if I may be in a garden centre, maybe I'm a yearly visit that I come and I sort my garden out. Can you sort that in terms of the timeline?
Yes, absolutely. So just with a few click fit the filters, and then we have here the time. So I can take any of these, or I can even custom my own. But in this case, then I would take 365 days. I say apply, and there you go. You have it
Yeah.
for the last year.
Yeah, so they're
Oh,
the
it is very
customers.
easy.
Yeah, WhatsApp offer out to those customers, to get them to drive them back into the store then because you might have lost them, you might not have seen them. So I think that's really a really cool way to be able to touch base with your customer and know who's coming in and know who's coming out because at the end of the day, the whole thing is about knowing your customer. And if you know your customer,
Absolutely.
you know their behavior as well. So yeah.
And when you know their behavior, you know what they bought the last. So you can get a cross-sell report. So if you know that the one of the most potential customers was buying children outdoor trousers, you can come here and see what else is typically sold at the same time. So in the basket where you have sold trousers, you can see here as the basket sales value or sales in pieces. So maybe we could here kind of make that conclusion that coats typically are sold together with the trousers most often. And then you could do marketing campaign by offering these products that look
Mm,
like, hello, Brenda. It was nice that you were shopping with us and we saw that you like the trousers and maybe you're interested in these as well. Or maybe you use it as your product placement
yeah.
planning in your store. So you can kind of take the the hot ones and put them in front of your store to the best spot and kind of create a journey for the customer that they have all of these most often sold products around it so that they kind of come in and they start buying everything at once what they need. And that's the cross-selling opportunity here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And regarding that, just very quickly, because I think personally this is so great, you can even analyze how the weather is impacting. I mean, in Ireland, isn't it running like all the time?
We're actually really good today. Up in Dublin anyway, we've really nice weather today.
So
But
maybe
I'm sure, I think you mentioned to me as well that you can connect a footfall counter here as well.
you
So if you
can.
have, yeah, if you have footfall counters in store, you can actually really see the impact of the weather and your footfall and your
Yes,
sales all together. So
yes.
like how
This is now for the
insightful is that?
sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So in London, it seems that yeah, the better the weather, the more you sell. Compared to the last period, we had actually raining and 17, and the sales were down. But actually, yeah, it depends on sometimes in retail and restaurant it can be different, and also in the locations. But in general, you get a trend here. And like you said, Brenda, you can see the visitor counting. And then you can also get ready from the resourcing point of view. If you know that, oh, it's going to be very sunny and nice weather during the weekend, which you can see from the heat map easily, that my peak days are probably Friday, Saturday, then you know that you have the right amount of staff in place during those days. And maybe you want to take the men's shorts or women's bikinis or something into the front of the store so that what typically is sold during the good weather days, you have it there and
This
get rid
the
of the.
sunscreen, Laura. It's sunscreen factor 50. Marion from Nuts and Grains is on this call. She'll be telling us all to wear sun cream
You are right about that.
now.
Absolutely. And then the final one, as a quick cue here, this is for the management regarding sales. So you can very quickly see now, unfortunately, in our demo data, we seem to be missing the budget here. But you can see instantly how your sales are developing. But actually, sales are positive, but margin is dropping. So you might want to start looking into it, which you can do very easily here. You get to the table and you can start do the digging like we just did. I'm not going into that now. But then what I still want to quickly show you before we are starting to run out of time is, for example, this kind of for the management, store manager or business manager or anything, you can see now the stores, how much they have sold in euros and how much they typically give discount. And in this case, for example, we can see that there is Beijing giving quite high discounts, but not really doing that well sales-wise. So this is already suggesting it, and I'm curious to see how is the sales coming from different salespersons. So I just click on it. And then we can see that, oh no, Albert Burger might be in trouble. So very high discounts, but the sales are not really performing well. So you might want to kind of keep track on it and try to find out, is it the product mix? Is it something to do with seasonality? Maybe the guy has worked only 1 day a week, but you can investigate further, and then you can have a talk with the person. If it's not improving, yeah, then you might have an issue. But then also there is Helena, oh, doing great job, really, really selling a lot. And the discounts are not that bad comparing how much money she's bringing in. So maybe she could be sharing some best practices and at least really acknowledge that, look, you are doing great job if this person is a high performer, like constantly from one period to another.
I think as well from a HR perspective, when you have to sit people down and have a performance review with them, you can really like you have the data there. It's not a manager bullying or picking on or not having getting along with someone. It's you're literally looking at data to say, look, I'm looking at Helena there, I'm looking at your sales here, look at the difference, what's going on. And then likewise, Helena can maybe advise or take them under their wing to like talk about their techniques or how they're doing it. But I suppose it makes it very fair from a HR perspective to have performance reviews, and like it's very factual as opposed to emotional and feelings. I think you're not selling. I think you're discounting a lot. We know.
Yeah,
We
and
know
you
you're
can see it
discounting.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's really powerful. Like that for managers, I think is really powerful.
And also for the employees themselves. So a lot of them, like many of them, want to have it like they go in and they want to know how I'm doing compared to my peers. So it can be motivating as well. And it's really like it can be a very positive thing. And I
Hmm.
know that it's used a lot like that. Perfect.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
that was all from my side regarding the demo. I think we have do we have now 8 minutes or what do we have?
We do. No, we're doing perfect for time. We've loads of time for questions. I think Aoife, you had a couple come in on the registration forms. Also, if have the guys added any in the chat, Aoife?
Yeah, we've had one or two. So someone was just wondering, so say you're exporting the data to Excel, does it send the whole report or is it just the data behind it? Or is it both?
I can show you. Maybe that's the best way. So it kind of, you can choose the data. So you can go down to the level of details you want to be looking at. So in this case, now I have stores, but of course I could change it into product codes, for example, EAN codes, and then I would have a lot of data. And then I could add here a lot more KPIs as well. But I think the question was how it's going to look. So we will just take a look. I have it here now. And one moment. And you see the Excel?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. So this is the first sheet is telling you what data do you actually have there and from which time. And then the second page is going to show you the data. Sorry, I'm trying to kind of get it so that you can read something. And it is really like so that it's in a number format. You can start using macros, formulas, whatever you need, and you kind of have it. So it's not going to be like a picture, like a table there. It's
I think,
really
Laura,
useful.
this was
Sorry?
even
Okay.
even this question was in relation to sharing and downloading reports, wasn't it? Like I think if we just loop back to the share functionality that you showed, that you can essentially clip a URL and share that, and how that visibly looks as well to someone, because it's probably a lot cleaner than sending them a CSV file, I would say.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry. So it was, yeah, but that looks exactly the same as it is here. So it depends on
yeah,
what I'm sharing. If I share this report here, it looks exactly like this. And if I share this one, it will look like this. The only
yeah,
difference is that you're not able to start drilling down, because we want to, except if you do it in an email report to someone who has the rights, because you can really control here the users who has rights to what. You can do that on a area level, team level, user level, and then when they get this report in their email, they can drill down to the data they are actually having access to.
yeah,
So, so it will look like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And then someone else was just wondering, so what kind of support or training is on offer then if they do go with it?
I
So
can take that one. So,
yes,
we've partnered with Zoined. So essentially, we'll be offering. So if somebody comes to us, there's set software fees, and then there'll be a once-off fee for setup and for implementation. In general, we'd probably offer, I would say, a half a day's training, to get you going, and then if anybody needed more, then after we can set up additional training sessions for it. But I think it's pretty straightforward once you kind of are familiar with the user interface, that no more than a half day would be needed. But if it is, we can obviously cater to that as well. It would be a tailored quote for whoever needs it. So that's how we would work that way.
and if I may quickly add, we have this what we call Zoined Academy. So we have in YouTube like a series of videos which are showcasing exactly how to use the system. Like we have separate videos, how to use the filters, how do you do your budgeting and forecasting, how does the email reports work, and so on. So there is plenty of material that you can kind of go through yourself and get a refreshment. And of course, we are always there also from Zoe side. If you have some issues, we will help you to learn to use it efficiently.
Brilliant.
Yeah, lovely. And then in terms of cost, is there, so there's an implementation fee, and then is it subscription or?
Yeah, so Eva, if you could just pop in the chat the pricing link,
Yeah,
in terms of the pricing. So it's a set pricing fee per location, per how many stores you have, and then there would be just a setup, just depending on that. So again, it would be tailored, like if you were to get a new system, it would be tailored to the number of stores you have. So it wouldn't be in comparison for the data and the efficiency, I suppose, you're getting here. In comparison to a Power BI dashboard, it could be like hundreds of thousands to get this data and to get these analytics, whereas it would be an absolute minute fraction of that cost, like a couple of days, like if even, a day or two in total for setup for once off, and then you just have your subscription yearly, is how it would work. And then Aoife has kindly popped that in the chat there, so you can have a look at pricing as well.
yeah, perfect. Thanks. And then I just see Stuart has put in the chat. So if I'd want to take this in use, how long would it take to deploy?
You, Laura, you'd probably be best to answer that one. I'd say just in terms of how long it generally takes.
From our side, like we have to promise that we deliver it in 24 hours. That's mainly because we operate globally, so there might be quite a time difference, but it's really super fast because we have the integration in place. So when we get the order, we create the portal for the customer, we create the token, and then together with you guys, you just get it installed, which I think is depending more or less on your resourcing, but I would say that it's a question of days. At the best case scenario, it can be really 1 or 2 days that everything is done. But in any case, it's not going to take weeks or months ever. So it's really like it's fast.
Yeah, I see, Stuart, like unlike Power BI, like it's all pre-built, I suppose, and you can see the toggles and the filters that you add in. So it's just a case of building the reports that you want. Whereas if you were to look at like a Power BI setup or setting up a big dashboard, that would take weeks or months, which is the normal turnaround. Whereas with this, it's all ready to go. All the reports are already there. The integration is there. So it's a case of just getting the install done, getting you guys trained on and to be proficient in it, and that's really the setup time.
Yeah, that's all the questions I have here anyways.
Real. Does anybody
Sure.
else? Sorry, Damien, go ahead.
Oh, only me. Sorry, Anna. I've been so good and quiet throughout all of That's just something that I know that, Laura, I'm cheating here a little bit. We did discuss this because obviously my background is ERP and I definitely have good insights into Power BI. So Power BI, when you initially want to start working with Power BI, Tableau, any of the big solutions, you have to build the dashboards. You have to talk to an analyst in what data you want to derive from your system. All that stuff you have to sit down with somebody. They go through all this. So you'll have a business analyst who'll go through all this, tick the boxes, this is what you want to see. It's fair to say that with this solution, and the thing that we liked about it was that all the retail stuff is done. Like if I was to sit down with an IBM Cognos professional, for example, I'm sitting down and they're going, well, tell us what your problems are, and and what would you like to get from your retail data, and this could take weeks, and then you're building the dashboards and you're doing that. It's fair to say that all that retail experience that you guys have just comes out of the box for a monthly fee.
Absolutely. That's the main difference and the beauty of this solution. I've worked with these traditional type of BI tools myself as well. I've been part of the projects which have taken actually even a year. And according to studies, 70% fail. So you never get it either working or you don't get the results you're looking for. So that is exactly why I personally fell in love with this. I'm a data maniac. I'm really like the fan of database decision making. So this really is, in my point of view, in that sense, unique because during the last 14 years, that's all that we've been doing. We've been developing this from the retail and restaurant and e-commerce verticals side of
Yes,
the
yeah.
business. So everything is planned for that. And that therefore we have considered all the retail topics and you have it straight out of the box. So you don't
Until
need any
you
technical
meet Irish
skillful.
retailers, and trust me, they look for the maddest of stuff that you can possibly look for. But that's part of the fun,
Okay,
So,
but if the mad stuff is not in there, we can actually within a
uh,
few weeks you can create your own metrics and you can add the mad stuff as long as you have the data in there. So
I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, but look, it is a point worth noting, because trust
yes,
me, in previous lives, I've sold 6 month
uh,
contracts for data analysts at £1,000 a day, and I've been delighted. And some big, large pharmacy chains, for example, have paid that kind of money
yeah,
and wouldn't get the fraction of the insights that we would get here, and
yeah.
have didn't make me rich now, but helped in sales side of things, but certainly the price point for this compared to
I I've been the
it's
one buying
shocking.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I've been
yeah,
the one
yeah,
buy, and I wasn't always so happy. So
yeah, yeah. No, no, no.
yeah,
It
it's
is
very fair
shocking.
point. It's
Yeah.
really on spot. Yeah.
No, fair. No, thank you. Yeah,
Um,
very interesting.
I think before we wrap up today, there is one thing that we wanted to throw out to everyone who came and has spent the time on this call is that we are obviously this is our like this as we mentioned earlier, this integration is already active globally, particularly in the US, but we're bringing it to Ireland. So we are looking for from a marketing perspective, because I'm always looking for a case study and somebody's time to do a video with me. We're looking for a marketing case study. So if the first person who gets to me displays interest and wants to obviously take on the subscription, if they're willing to work with us on a case study basis to do a partnership with Zoined, ourselves, and yourselves, potentially we have space for one and they will get free implementation costs. Don't tell Damien, he's on this call, he'll talk to me about it later, won't be happy, but we do want one. So if you are interested and want to get a personalized demo, because obviously this was very just a snapshot of some reports that we felt were really, really relevant to you guys in the room. So if you want to do a tailored demo and you're interested in progressing, we will offer it to obviously one of our retailers who have RMH in place already, free implementation, free training, and then we will just ask for your time for a case study because you'll be delighted. And that's the hope. So if anybody is interested, contact myself or Aoife. So Brenda at PSS is my email and Aoife at PSS is Aoife. So contact either of us after this call. And if you want a follow-up demo, we can arrange a session in the next couple of weeks then as well.
Shocking, giving away anything for free.
I know. I'm gonna get murdered.
I know. Brilliant, brilliant. No, look, really enjoyed that, and the stuff I suppose, Laura, that we didn't touch on is there's mountain loads more. So it was great just to have those use cases, and obviously not just for fashion, that for any type of products or any type of retail business. But yeah, like
Absolutely.
what I can't get over is, and I do mean this because we do work with Power BI still, is how I would be able to argue the case for Power BI over Zoined. That's honest, or Tableau, or Cognos, or or any Odoo, or any of those solutions that have an AI, or that have an analytics element to it. And you never even mentioned that AI is coming built into the solution as well.
I was going to tell you so quickly, because just by clicking here is the Ched, our AI analyst. So I can just ask Ched, show me the
I think,
sales.
If you
Laura, you're
show
not
your
sharing
if
there.
you
So.
share your
Oh,
screen.
sorry. I'm using myself then. So,
Yeah.
but I know Ched already, so I will.
So this is in beta testing at the moment. It's a
Oh,
AI
it's
that
yeah,
AI
pilot. And we
analyst,
have,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
our heavy
supplied
user
now.
customers are already using it in their
Mm.
system. So we are going to launch this fully somewhere during the Q3, Q4 this year. So I just typed in here that show me the sales year to date, and then you get the sales here. And then I could say that add the comparison to prior year. I could have done that at the same time, but now I just quickly put it in there. And this is also actually, you can also talk to Ched. So you can be in your car, going to the store, ask Ched, how are the sales in the store? And he will reply to you with his lovely voice. And I can already see here that the sales are down in April. So I will ask, why are the sales? Why have the sales dropped in April? Let's put it like this versus last year. And this is the important part of it, because it's using the root cause analysis. There is like 50 to 100 SQL queries happening during this time, maybe 1 minute behind it. So you need to find a very professional controller who will take hours to figure out why the sales actually dropped in that month. First, they need to realize that it dropped, but then why it happened. And that's always from me. Okay, we can see here that it's 7% down. It's because of mainly the Americas area. Number of orders are down 21%. E-commerce area is minus 255 orders. Average purchase size is down by 0.8%. And children tops, which I think we spotted ourselves, children tops weren't doing very well. So it's down by 0.4 units. We have to remember this is only 1 month. So it's more numbers, but it's meaningful. And now the drop in this case wasn't that high. But this gives you exactly all of the topics that you want to start looking into, and you can do it here the same way. It's interactive the way it was, or you can just keep chatting with Ched, and it will provide you more and more information as you go. So you no longer even need to remember, okay, which kind of report was I supposed to? What was the metric that I was thinking? You just ask Ched, and it will provide you the answer. I hope you were able to see the writing
Yep.
here. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this is, I think, super cool, because now anyone can really analyze the data down to the reasons behind it. So
Yep.
takes you
Really,
minutes.
really cool. Yeah. No, really good. Yeah. And just to add, it's funny because we have a sister company, Accountancy Software, who supply QuickBooks to lots of Irish customers, and they're building this type of analytics into the application. However, QuickBooks' turnover is 8 billion a year, so it's slightly different. Now they do have whatever 7 million customers or whatever, but it's I just think it's phenomenal. I do, and the life of a data scientist will get much easier. And look, asking right questions is really where it's all going to be. It's figuring out how to ask the right questions is we'll never lose our jobs, but it'll just become more difficult in going, what is the best question to ask so that I have some competitive advantage over my customer, and that's where it is. And yeah, I'm currently in UCD myself doing a course on AI and data, and this is the gold dust. It's how can we ask the right questions. It's really, and it's fascinating. I like, this is mind blowing stuff. If we had this 10 years ago, like, Jesus, we'd be just, it's mad. But anyway, great. Look, I think wonderful for me. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Brenda will kill me, but she's already gave away something for free. So tough luck, Brenda.
Oh, hilarious. Brilliant. I think, guys, we're probably open the floor one more time if anyone does have any questions. If you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, you're more than welcome. We have a couple of minutes there if you had any questions. I think no. Uncomfortable pause for tumbleweed. Okay, yeah, wonderful.
You're still on mute and talking.
And I'm on mute. Wonderful. Brilliant. Well, look, we will finish up there. And if anybody is interested in next steps, as I said, reach out to myself or Aoife, and we can set up a tailored demo in terms of data and metrics that you want to see. And then obviously we mentioned we have the one case study position for somebody who is interested in participating in a marketing case study with us as well. So yes, thank you so much for joining us on your lunch break. We hope you had a cup of tea and a sandwich while you were listening. And if you have any questions or follow-ups, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. Great.
Bye.
Well done,
Thanks,
all.
Laura.
Cheers.
Bye.
Well done.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.